This video is sponsored by Novium. Stay tuned to learn about the hover pen in a minute. We live in a new era of toys that only work once and toys that play with themselves. Yeah, I know what I said, grow up! With companies like Robosen having cornered a very specific market of adult collector, and YouTubers making actual children think that opening a box is the most fun part of the toy. Slot machine, slot machine, slot machine, loot box, slime, rare gold figure, sensory, ADHD, fidget, collectible, cash prize. These ones poop! Hey kids, you want a toy that poops? Hi, I'm Jaxom, and man, couldn't be me! I grew up in the best era, the only good era with all the best toys. Character building toys, toys that turn you into a man. There was, oh man, that's still a lot of slime, actually. Whatever, it's still a fact that my objective good taste has impartially deemed
years when I was between 5 and 13 years old
to be the best era that will never be surpassed. Basically, all things before or after my childhood are bad. And in this Reddit post, I will explain. I think I've managed to avoid the psychological trap of nostalgia exclusively because I grew up around a lot of vintage toys. Not that I don't now have nostalgia for all of those vintage toys too, but it's helped me avoid thinking that my childhood era was uniquely better than any other. My dad was in the toy industry when I was growing up, so I'd been to a handful of dozens of toy shows by the time I was 10. I don't remember where exactly I got these two figures or exactly when in my childhood I found them, but I remember they were on sale by someone with no idea what they had, so I got them real cheap. Stupid cheap, considering Omega Supreme has a complete set of his trademark little yellow tabs, with losable in the sandbox action. Trypticon is noticeably less complete, missing basically every accessory meant to make his battle station mode look a bit less like a flayed out Greco-Roman torture victim. Regardless, these were my absolute favorite Transformers toys for a solid couple of years. Always in the playtime rotation, always in arm's reach, and still they retain a coveted shelf spot. Admittedly, the theming is a big part of that, given the Godzillas and the Gundams and the Jaegers and the Evas. I have a few biases. Sidebar, there's this Godzilla Transformer on Hasbro Pulse right now, a reskinned Grimlock with a Megatron head for some reason. Maybe I'm not in the loop enough to know why this is the specific direction they're taking the Godzilla crossover figure. Because in my eyes, Trypticon was always the one true Godzilla Transformer. The dorsal spine-like ridges on his back really sell it, plus the missile-launching shoulder cannons that evoke Type 3 Kiryu. Though Trypticon came first, so perhaps the inspiration is cyclical. The point is, for these toys to stay in the rotation, they had to compete with countless other more modern Transformers and other modern toys in general, like Mindflex. And they didn't even come in the boxes when I got them. These days that'd mean I could skip straight to the throw it in the trash now that it's open phase, but I actually played with them. The dumbest thing is that, apart from their aesthetics, I think I liked them so much just because they could walk on their own. Omega Supreme can go around his little track in vehicle mode, while both can ambulate decently well on foot in robot mode. These slow, plodding steps, always teetering on the edge of falling over, granted them a truly immersive sense of scale. Someone please tell Hollywood about this. I beg you, take Godzilla off the stimulants. He's getting so fast that it's starting to scare me. While all of my other figures moved at the universal action figure speed limit of as fast as a child's hands can move, Trypticon and Omega Supreme were looming threats, encroaching ever nearer. And when they finally meet, the Battle of the Titans begins! Haha! Yeah! Hey, look at this thing! Shiny, shiny, jingle, jingle, ooh! This is the Hover Pen Interstellar by Novium. An incredibly cool, high-end holiday gift for yourself or your loved ones. Or your hated ones! If you really want to make them like you a lot as part of a years-long scheme to gain their good graces. Novium is the sponsor of this video. They create unique, innovative, high-end products meant to inspire curiosity and develop your creativity. Personally, I think the hover pen is wizardly as heck. As somewhat a purveyor of the magical arts myself, it adds a real mystique to my writings as I research my ancient tomes and jot down fresh incantations. Given my focus on the cosmic arcane, the Interstellar edition suits the theme well, hovering at a 23.5-degree angle just like the tilt of the planet Earth. The premium edition even comes with a shard of a 4-billion-year-old meteorite, connecting the vast, indescribable cosmos to your little desk where you play your little games. It comes in different colors too. Ooh. There's also the Hover Pen Future, a 2-in-1 fountain and rollerball pen with an interchangeable tip. I wrote exclusively with a quill and inkwell for years, so a return to a fountain nib is a return to an old, reliable friend. Both pens are refillable, and they glide over paper as smooth as butter. That way you can stop writing with butter and start using ink. Do not refill the hover pens with butter. Get your loved ones a gift that will truly wow them and probably last a lifetime. Use code JETKUSO to get 10% off of all hover pens, with free international shipping for most countries. Links in the description and QR codes on screen to scan now. What was I saying? Oh yeah! Basically, they're good toys. Either or both of them create a true spectacle of a centerpiece, a scenario that imaginary missions and dramas can be built around. Having 1 or 2 toys that move on their own while you play with the rest is a little bit like having a friend to play with. That's the saddest line I've ever written. Are their transformations very good? No! But also, yeah. Like I said, without all the parts, Trypticon's base mode is a little bit lackluster. It's not like you can fit your figures inside their base modes as shown in the anime. This is not an immersive cityscape no matter what these bastards tell you. Shield your eyes, small child! The cartoons tell you only lies! What they do accomplish is to act as terrain, something to play around, basically fitting them into the same niche whether they're transformed or not. Centerpiece, setting, scenario. There's an attack on Autobot City! Hey! Build the track! Build the rocket ship! Kill your enemies with unconventional incendiary weapons! Obviously, base-based playsets are still very common, and walking toys are still very common. But you won't find them integrated into toy lines anymore, and certainly not integrated into one toy as a single package deal. Both a walking action figure and a base. That's frickin' play value. Omega Supreme having a tank that moves and a gun that spins, all using a single motor that somehow also makes the feet walk in its other mode. The engineering is fabulous.
Pull the lever! Don't listen to them. Rats, it's the trolley problem. First I lose my keys and now this.
The amount of play value is nuts, and you can bet my child self-redeemed every last non-fungible Bitcoin of it. These days, you're not gonna find an action figure toy line with this much variety, where one of the action figures walks, capable of stomping and destroying all the others in a way that makes perfect sense to the lore. You're more likely to find a largely unrelated capstone toy like that, or Accelerator Suit Duke, that does something cool, but it's basically impossible to integrate it naturally into play with all of your other figures. This is a beautiful element of the G1 Transformers toy line. It's a hodgepodge, a big pot of stew labeled God's Mistakes, with a single consistent gimmick and a narrative slapped on top that grants improbable cohesion. Omega wasn't designed to be a Transformer, or to work with the other figures. He was grandfathered in from another toy line, like most of the OGs, so he's out of scale and out of proportion, and in any other scenario but the one that Hasbro concocted, he wouldn't make any sense. And for all the redone, remade, upgraded versions of Omega Supreme and Trypticon that have been made since, I genuinely think that the OGs are pretty much the best. Yeah, I know I complained in my Optimus Prime video about Firetruck Prime being a parts former, but I never claimed to be God. It's literally just because they can walk. I think it's cool. I'm a simple man. They did more than just play with themselves. I know I said it again. Quiet! Go to jail! Get! It makes me wish that Robosen would make an Omega Supreme. Not in scale with their other robots, but in scale with a normal Transformers collection. The former option would basically be a Boston Dynamics style full-size robot that looks like Omega Supreme, whose rocket mode violates hundreds of domestic aerospace regulations. and you can kiss him.
Oh, damn.
No, a normal-sized Robosen figure. Not to play with your other Robosen figures, but because he could be played with alongside your Transformers, and that would be rad. Don't ask me how it transforms. Did it have to be able to do this? Basically, magnets? I don't know. Unboxing toys could never. They will never beat the value that I got out of these two old toys. And even as vintage toys, I probably got them way cheaper than LOL Surprise, Big Surprise Party, 4 collector dolls, 40 plus surprises, 5 unpacking experiences, fashion sand, gel crust, shell smash, fluff, party confetti for girls. These old bots were the greatest things I possibly could have gotten as a growing fan, and I would love to see this inconsistent, oddball, gimmicky G1 design philosophy return for a mainline Transformers toy line someday. That's it. Remember to subscribe, like, hit the bell, and support my Patreon to help this channel survive. This is JetKuso, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you to my Patreon supporters at patreon.com/JetKuso who make all of this happen and help me be able to branch out into broader stuff that the YouTube algorithm might not like, but that you guys will probably find interesting, like this video, I hope. Thank you especially to my Diamond patrons Immortal Blank, Lucid Lana, CHOOKA Bear, and RAZU Ryan, my Titan patrons CR107, Gusano, Banana Jones, Chell, Gavin Greenley, and new Titan patron Douglas Fern. Thank you so much for joining. My hyper patrons, Trouble, Mudorios, Orio, Alyssa Gretlein, Mannsky, Plecopleco, Forrest DC, and HeartlineDai, and all of my base patrons who are over there doing their base patrony thing.